Hello, welcome to SwitchedOn Gaming, Paul speaking, and welcome to a look at a brand new game on the Nintendo Switch, and I think this is one that a lot of people have been looking forward to. This is Cruisn Blast, which comes from Raw Thrills, and is actually developed by Eugene Jarvis, the classic arcade game developer. He made Narc and SmashTV and Robotron. Really, really brilliant arcade developer, and he has made this game, and his team I've now ported it to the Nintendo Switch, which is excellent. So what I thought I'd do is go through like the first race in each of the 4 tiers, just to show you, give you a bit of a flavour. Now, don't worry about spoilers too much, because there's over 25 tracks here. The developer's claiming 29. I think that's a little bit of a push. I think there's around about 24 different tracks, and then there's some variations later on in the game. You get sort of the same tracks but with different effects on them, so I won't spoil too much, but just bear that in mind. But as I said, we'll play through 4 tracks here. Races go pretty quickly. Normally, well, they're all under 2 minutes definitely, but normally under a minute and a half, so it's not going to take long to get through. And just let me know what you think. So this is, as you can probably tell, an arcade racer. It comes from the arcade. It's been around for ages, and this is a new entry, and it's basically just get to the finish as stylishly as possible and as quickly as possible. Obviously you need to win, but I think the racing part is probably secondary in terms of the finesse of the racing. Look at these massive drops, absolutely superb, amazing. Yeah, so this is more about to get to the end. This is more about timing your boosts, which can be done with the L button now, timing your drifts, hitting these boost pads, doing takedowns on other cars, which is like something that Burnout obviously took from this game, I'd imagine. But you know, you can slam into other cars to take them out basically and take them off the track. You've also got a lot of different stunts, like you can see here. If you double tap the drift button, you get all these different stunts. You can do backflips, you can go up on 2 wheels, you can actually do a wheelie, approach a car from behind doing a wheelie, and you'll flip over it. So there's, yes, it's an arcade racing game, and you don't really even have to accelerate. I've actually got the game on auto accelerate, because you don't need to accelerate. You don't need to brake, certainly, because you can't fall off the track or really hit any obstacles and such. So it's just balls to the wall speed, and as I say, it's more about timing your tricks and your boosts and your drifts to get to the finish line. So this is the first race. This is the very first race you'll do. This is on the night tour. And then what we're going to do, as I say, is we're going to jump in and out of these races while I show you some of the other stuff as well and talk about some of the other parts of the game. And then at the end of the video, I'll give you my final thoughts. So there we go, finish first here. Let's jump back and have a look at some of the options in the game. So in the next race, we'll talk about performance and controls. But for now, this is what the options you get to start the game. There's a single player mode, a local multiplayer mode. Now I got very excited when I saw it, thinking it was online, but unfortunately it's up to 4-player split screen local. There is also local play as well, local wireless play. If you've got friends with switches as well, you can play local wireless multiplayer. And this extras menu gives you a nice little breakdown of the progress that you're making. So the cars you've unlocked, tracks you've unlocked, your best times, some stuff about controls there, so that's pretty cool. In the single player mode, you've got the tour, you've got classic arcade mode. Look at that cabinet, that is absolutely amazing. Superb. The arcade mode, by the way, only has 5 locations, and I think only 8 or 12 cars. Certainly not as many as in the game here. So they've really outdone themselves. And apparently Eugene Jarvis said it was due to lockdown, really, over the last sort of year or 2, that the team have had time to really get their head around the Switch version and add all these extra things in. Now, I've also got time trials, but again, unfortunately, there's no leaderboards or anything, which I think is a real shame, and especially from Eugene Jarvis, who's, you know, knows his arcade games better than anybody, and there's no online leaderboards or no real leaderboards as such. You just get a stored best time, which is a bit of a shame. I really do hope that they can somehow get in at least online leaderboards, and you can just do a single race. So let's go and do the next tour, next race in the tour. When we come back after the next race, we'll have a look at the cars that are available. But for now, let's go on to the Escape Tour, which is based around sort of cops and robbers. So there we go. I thought we fit in to be the police car for this race. We'll have a look at, say, some of the cars that you can unlock after this race. And so this is the second of 6 different tours. Each tour is made up of 4 races. And so most of those are over different tracks. There is a really wide variety of tracks, and hopefully you'll be able to see during my play here how varied these tracks are in terms of what's going on around them. The sort of, I think you saw some in the last race there, the huge big like canyon drops, and there's just so much cool stuff like that. It's really good. And as you can see there, you can't really crash. There are some tracks that have got sort of pedestrian cars on the track or on the course that can slow you down, but generally it's like nothing can really stop you. If you hit a stone pillar, you're going through that pillar. You know, and not like in a glitchy way, it sort of smashes and crumbles. So maybe see the big wheel, the London Eye escaped. So in terms of performance then, you're looking at 60 frames a second, which hopefully will come through on the video. 1080p docked, 720 handheld, 60 frames a second handheld as well, which is amazing. Once you start adding in extra split screen players, that frame rate does drop, and I think it goes down to 30 once you add in more than 2 players. But I mean, it is rock solid. There is a few drops that are noticeable if there's absolutely tons going on the screen, but generally it is a rock solid 60 frames a second. And for the amount that's going on here, and you know, I think this has got really good visuals. It's really fly upside down through the finish line. Absolutely superb achievement. You know, brilliant development work to get this looking, running, and sounding as good as it does. So absolute top marks for that from me. As we get another first place, so you get all your rewards after the event. So as you can see here, cash you've picked up, stunts you've done, takedowns you've done, drifts you've done. All adds up to your total. And again, I just wish there was a leaderboard, even just for the money score, because you know it seems to be an important thing. But there you go. So we're going to go back now, have a look at some of the cars you can unlock. Now I have still got some cars to unlock. I've not unlocked every car in the game yet, but I'll take you through some of them. These are some of the ones you start with. You've got a Corvette Stingray. You can see on the left hand side there the stats, and also you level up a car each time you win a race, or you know, win money in a race. You get XPT car, and then that unlocks different things that we'll have a look at in a second. Got a Nissan 370Z, Nissan GTR, and got this 1959 Cadillac Eldorado. Very rare. Actually, if we can get that yellow coloured, because you can change the paint jobs. Sort of a metallic yellow. So we've got plain yellow. And Crazy Taxi vibes right there. Got Hummer, which is really good for off-road racing. You can see the stats there. So if you've got a tour that looks like it's particularly rough, then race those sort of cars. And then you get into some of the unlocks here. The police car was an unlock. The Superbike here was an unlock. You can see the weight and off-road ability of that is terrible. But if you're racing through somewhere like London, probably good to use the bike. We're going to unlock a car in a minute just to show you how the unlock works, and to show you some of the other stuff. So these are the ones that are still locked at the moment that we've managed to get access to. So we've got the 1959 Corvette, the Chevrolet Camaro ZLI, 1963 Corvette Stingray, the Rubinio Bullet, which is obviously like an IndyCar or Formula 1 car, Stealth Chopper, Quad Bike, a fire truck, which is pretty cool, and even a Triceratops. And there's 8 more hidden cars, so you know I haven't spoiled everything there. There's plenty there still to unlock, and you normally unlock cars by collecting keys that are strewn around the track. We'll talk about that on the next one. Let's unlock a car and race with that. Let's unlock the as I'm a big open wheel fan, let's unlock this. We've got, it takes 10 keys to unlock this. We've got 18 up in the top corner, and we'll race with this in the next tour. So let's have a look at some of the upgrades you've got as well. I've already shown you some of the paint options. So you get different paint jobs, which is pretty neat. And these are for all the cars as well, so it's pretty cool. Let's go a shiny gold colour. Now you've got these upgrades. These are what unlock as you level up your car. So you can see here at level 2, you've got neon lights, which look really cool. Actually, I'll probably jump out quickly and just show you the neon lights. But you've got a body kit and new engine as well that you can add in. And you can also pay 5,000 to start with an extra blast. Now, we haven't really spoke about blast, so we'll get into that in the next race. But let's have a quick look at the neon. If I find a car that I'm at level 3 with, look at the upgrades. And look at the neon. Looks absolutely superb. Really cool. And decals here, you can add some decals, and then there's a body kit on this one as well. Yeah, the neon just looks awesome. But anyway, let's go back to the IndyCar Formula 1 car and go to the next track and see what that is. I will actually add that neon into the next race and see how that looks for the final race. But here we are. This is the Storm Tour. Now, all of these races are based around different sorts of storms. So this is the Yeti track. So on ice. And as you'll see, as we race around, there's all sorts of stuff going on. Big Yeti there, trying to grab you. So the controls, as I mentioned earlier, I'm on auto accelerate, but this game uses the A and B button to accelerate. So really hammering home its arcade roots. There's no sort of ZL and ZR to accelerate here. A and B. X will let you change the music. Y will change your view. You have got a few different views that you can flick through there. So there's a bumper view. Whoa, look at that big hole in the ice. A bumper view, a close-up view, and a more pulled-out view like this. L button will do this blast, which shoots you forward. And there's all these little hidden pathways as well that you can take. Keep an eye out for those. There's lots of them on the tracks, and they usually will unlock a key. Or no, they'll be holding a key or a boost or something, so they're worth keeping your eye out for them. As I say, B brakes, but you'll never need to use it. Holding down the R button here will let you do a drift, and then various double taps of that drift button will do different things. So just a normal double tap, you will do a wheelie, and if you do a wheelie off a ramp, you'll do the backflip. If you double tap while you're steering around a corner, you will do this two-wheel. Up on two wheels, which looks pretty cool. And if you do the two wheels up against the side of another car or a ramp, you will do a corkscrew off it. And if you do a drift off a ramp, you will do a what they call a helicopter spin. So that's pretty cool. So in terms of difficulty, don't worry how easily I'm blasting through these. Even though it is an arcade game, I am on the easiest mode. Now I have played some on normal mode, and it is definitely a step up in difficulty, so don't worry about that. It's not just an easy game. But as I say, you can, on this easiest mode, you can get through each race well under 2 minutes, normally under 90 seconds. So you can imagine getting through 24 races, you can normally get through it, maximum sort of 45 minutes. So, but, there is that other stuff to unlock as well, which is pretty cool. So we're going to do one more race. I'm going to go back to the main menu and pick up the final tour. So this is the final race that we're going to be having a look at today. You can see I've gone with the Nissan GTR, and I've put the neon kit on as well. This is called the Chopper Tour. This is Tour 4 of the 6. And again, don't worry, there's 4 races, 4 different tracks in each tour. So there's nothing really being massively spoiled here too much. And you can see the names of the tours as well, so you can kind of have a good guess at what they are. The final 2 tours are quite specialised, so I'll leave you to discover them for yourself. But in this tour, you normally get a chopper flying overhead, firing missiles at you, and there's all sorts going on. It's really cool. So overall then, in terms of my thoughts of Cruisn Blast, I think this is a blast, and that's actually one of the reasons why they named it. They wanted it to be the blast that you use for your boost, but also just to say it is a blast to play, and it really is. If you're a fan of arcade racing games, then I don't know if there's anything better on the Switch. It's basically the souped up version of the entire arcade cabinet in your hand, and that is just amazing. The job they've done in development is just superb. It just runs like a dream. There's so much going on. It's super impressive for the Nintendo Switch. Handheld, as I say, it performs just as well. It's 60 frames a second, it's 720. And it's an absolute ton of fun to play. And because you don't have to hold down ZL, ZR, in fact you don't even have to hold down accelerate at all, it's easy on the hands. You don't get cramped up from playing it, which you can do with some racing games. And for me, it's a brilliant game. It is a bit quick to get through. The lack of multiplayer of any sort, either online racing or leaderboards, is a slight negative for me. I'm going to be giving it, if I had to score it, I'd be giving it an 8 out of 10. It's a really solid arcade racing game. If you're a fan of these from back in the day, if you played this in the arcade or on the the older versions on the Nintendo 64, you're going to be in absolute 7th heaven, and I really hope you enjoy it. So leave me a comment below if you've played the series before, if you've got this on pre-order, if you're going to be picking it up today, September the 14th. It's actually, I think if your price either, it's £34.99, $39.99, so it's not a full price game either, so there's a bit of a saving there. And it's just a brilliant game. So I hope you enjoy it. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're new. Really appreciate it. And leave me a comment below what you think of this game. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.